the things you need to prepare, what to do during a disaster, who do we call for help, and some quick facts on disasters occurring here in the Philippines. Without further ado, let's start. So what are the things we need to prepare beforehand? First and most important, water for drinking and sanitation. Food, at least 3 days supply of non-perishable food, and battery-powered radio, cell phone with chargers, and backup batteries for contact purposes. Flashlight, in case it gets dark. First aid kit, whistle, mask, wipes for personal sanitation, local maps, and finally, a plastic sheet and duct tape for shelter purposes. Next, what to do before, during, and after a disaster. Before a disaster, you should first create an emergency plan for your own family at home. Make sure that everything you need is easily accessible in case of sudden disasters. Also, you should be knowledgeable on what protective measures to take before, during, and after evacuation. This is for preparation for whatever type of evacuation that will be carried out in your specific area. Lastly, you should put into mind your local emergency contact numbers, or better to list them and place it where you can easily see them, in case a disaster strikes and your family needs immediate help. The earlier you call, the faster you'll be taken care of or rescued. Now, during a disaster, first thing you should always put into mind is to stay calm. Because if you are calm, you think more properly and you make more wise decisions that would reflect on your actions. Next thing you need to do is wait for further instructions and follow your area's protocols on how to evacuate. This is to ensure that everyone is safe and no one will go missing. Finally, after the disaster strikes, you should find a safe place to stay and check in with your local officials for their instructions. Second, before you return home, you should make sure it is safe, and only do so when your officials have instructed you to. If you encounter problems financially, reach out to your local service relief organizations for assistance. Most importantly, check in with your family members, ask them about how they feel, and comfort them when needed. This is important so that each member would know how to cope with their feelings after a disaster. Now that I have told you the things you need to do before, during, and after a disaster, here are the contact persons you need to list down in case of an emergency. Number 1, your immediate family. Number 2, your local barangay. Number 3, the fire department. Number 4, local police stations. Number 5, your local hospital. And number 6, your national emergency hotline. And in the Philippines, it is 911. Make sure you keep a list of these contact numbers in your home in case of an emergency. I will now be providing you with some quick facts related to disasters in the Philippines. First, the Philippines is situated within the Pacific Ring of Fire, a 40,000-kilometer-long U-shaped fault zone in the Pacific Ocean, making us vulnerable to earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Second, aside from the COVID-19 pandemic, 2 major disasters have recently occurred in the country: Typhoon Ulysses and the Taal volcano eruption. This halted public life, business, and mobility, which greatly affected the Philippines' economy. Third and last fact, the local government units in the Philippines are the ones responsible for rehabilitating the society and rebuilding infrastructures from the aftermath of natural disasters that come into the country. According to a recent study, disaster risk mitigation expenses for rehabilitation and recovery in the Philippines were the largest government expenditure, totaling to approximately 16.2 billion pesos. That's all for this video. I hope you've acquired a thing or two on how to deal with disasters, especially here in our country. Just keep in mind that it's always better to prepare now than fail to do so once the worst has come. So stay safe, everyone.